That's an interesting question because what you're asking me is to tell you how his and my life together developed with one another.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I've told you sword fighting, gun playing, and whatever. There's one thing that Sammy was an absolute fanatic about, and that was, I want to say blackjack. I don't know blackjack. The game where you roll a dice with...
Craps.
No. The board. Where you move the hotels, buy hotels, etc., etc.
Monopoly.
He became the most phenomenal Monopoly player you have ever seen. He will kill when it comes to Monopoly. Monopoly. He will kill you if you do something wrong. Because if he couldn't win it from you, you were in bad shape with him. He was a fanatic about. That was one of the other things he was a fanatic about. All right, in this journey, along the way, you meet people, friends, other friends. For example, would go to New York. And we would go into New York, and the first thing you do when you walk into Lindy's in New York is the first thing you see is the comedian table. It's the first table that you see. All the comedians you could ever think of, that's the table they sit at. From Jackie Gleason to you pick anyone you want. They're there. They loved Sammy. So they invited him to eat at their table. That's a big thing for him personally. That's a big deal. Because remember, wherever he goes, I go. I'm the shadow. Not because the guys in Vegas said so, because Sammy I had to be with him because he got very nervous if he's around people he didn't know. He knew the comedians. They all knew him. They loved him. All right. So that's the kind of thing. It's hard to explain how how this kind of a friendship grows between two men. In the case of moving up from nightclub to nightclub, bigger club, theater, so on and so forth. It just keeps going up.
So tell me what was one of the worst clubs that you remember playing?
Oh my God, I couldn't possibly tell you the worst club. I would say it would probably be one I can remember, and I have a picture of that place, by the way, was Atlantic City. But they were all pretty bad. They were all pretty bad. Remind you, at this time, even though Sammy had a name, a certain value of name, he'd never been across the Mason-Dixon line, ever, in his life. Because right. Sam Sr. and Sam Massey never would allow that to happen. Because Massey grew up in that world, but he never let Sammy get into that world.
So when did Sammy come to you and say, you know what, I need you with me?
That happened. That like almost in Hawaii. We got to go back. We got to go back. Is when he used to come to my house in the high school. To my house and stuff. That's when he says, you got to come on the road with me one day. It was kind of a gag at first, because I was still in high school. It was kind of a gag, but that's how casual it was. So it got more serious because I was studying to be an aeronautical engineer in high school, and all of that and being together all the time. He says, "Come on, man." Come on, man. Come on with me. Let's go to Vegas. Let's have some fun. Whatever the case may be, the words were back in those days. That's a long time ago. It's hard for me to remember every phrase that was used. But that's the way that it came about.
So then you went to college, because you guys had met in high school, and you started, your friendship, and you went to college, came back, and then when you got back from college, you guys had a conversation. He told you, he was like, oh, so they kicked you out, right?
No, not quite. I went to City College to study television. Nobody knew what television was. There were no television studios. There was a minor Channel 2, which is on top of Mount Lee, not very far from where we stand today, when the screens were only 2 inches big. But I wanted to learn television production. So for almost a year and a quarter, really, I studied that. But Los Angeles City College didn't teach that stuff. They give you a drama class. They'll give you a lighting class. They'll give you something like that. But they didn't. There was no meat in their class. Nor was there any at USC or UCLA or any place else. That was it. That's why, as a matter of fact, that's why I picked Los Angeles City College, because they had what they called for the lack of another phrase, television, teaching you the television business. And now, when I went out, when I left Los Angeles City College, there was a school in Hollywood, a private school that you could pay to go to that would teach you a lot more than the college could teach you about the business itself. What